nation faces an enormous issue.
Alright, so how many credit cards do you own?
Credit cards. That would mean debit, right? Because like a credit one.
Many Americans are ill-informed and ignorant.
When you use that credit card, do you use it often?
All the time.
All the time?
For most things. I travel a lot, so like everything goes on the credit card.
This ignorance leads to credit card debt.
I'm 28 and I got $18,000 in credit card debt.
The following interviews are real and provide insight on credit cards and how to stay out of debt.
If you could avoid getting a credit card, would you?
Yeah, we're going to interview all these people.
Probably not, because I want a credit card eventually when I get money
Yeah.
at some point.
Do you think credit cards are useful?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think they're very convenient. It's better than carrying around a lot of cash at one time.
All right,
And what age do you think it is to start, I mean, it's good to start building credit?
Well, as early as you can, but some people are just irresponsible and, you know, they have a credit card and they go crazy, go to trips. So I guess it just depends on the person. I mean, if you're responsible as early as you can. I mean, I'm a responsible person. I started at 18, but I have friends that are in debt. It just depends on the person.
So when are good times to use credit cards?
Well, me personally, I use it for little stuff that I could pay for off of my next paycheck. So, I mean, you can't buy something that's worth $1,000 when you only make like $500 a check, you know. So just depending on your income and whatnot.
How would you avoid debt in the future?
How would I avoid debt? I guess through simple planning and making a budget. One might be able to control their spending. I know that's what my mother does, and so that's that.
Okay. If you could avoid getting a credit card, would you?
If I could avoid getting a credit card?
Yes.
I don't think I would. I find myself owning one when I get older. I mean, it's pretty inevitable. A lot of people use them.
So you think they're useful?
I think they're useful. I believe there is a use for them, and some people have them. Although I do understand that they are dangerous, that people often go into debt because of them. But I think I might have one.
All right.
It's important to have a credit card. I mean, if you run out of money, then you always have that little bit of backup plan, but it's good to like build credit so that whenever you want to buy a house, you're not going to get denied for it because they usually check your credit scores, buying cars and things like that. So I'm a little, in a bad place since I don't have a credit score.
All right. What is your understanding of credit/debit cards, and what would you use each for?
Credit card is a card that you use to buy things.
Okay. And what would you use that for?
To buy things.
Okay. How do you plan on avoiding debt?
I wouldn't buy things.
If you could feasibly avoid getting a credit card, would you? How do you plan on avoiding debt?
Well, I'm not going to get a credit card in college because I don't trust myself with one. And I plan on just buying things that I can afford once I do get one and just paying my bills on time.
Okay. If you could avoid getting a credit card, would you?
Yeah, definitely. I would avoid it.
Okay. What advice would you give to students getting credit cards?
I would say that it's a good idea if they have the responsibility to maintain their credit scores, and if they're able to already save money and they're not someone that can blow their money right as soon as they get it, but they've already learned how to save their money. I would recommend getting it so that you're at least building credit before you get to college, but possibly maybe under like a joint account with your parents so that your parents can kind of supervise the payments per month and you're not already putting yourself into debt. Yeah.
All right. What is your credit score?
I definitely can't say off the top of my head, but I would say that it's probably very close to the top. Mine was perfect until I got married, and then because my husband had some lower credit scores during his college time period where he had fallen behind on a couple of payments, then it added onto my credit score as well, so that kind of dragged.
Okay. Why do you think it's important to have and maintain a good credit score?
Because everyone looks at it when you're trying to buy a car, eventually when you try and buy a house, any major purchases, they look at your credit score. If you want to rent a place, the landlord will look at your credit score before you even get an opportunity to even rent the place out. So it's really important. It's part of your identity for a lot of things. So it's important to have a good score.
Right, what are we doing?
Okay. What is your understanding of credit versus debit cards? Which would you use each for?
Well, if I had a lot of money in my bank account, I would use debit card because it goes through immediately, rather than credit, which goes through like 3 days later. So it depends on how much money you have.
All right. How do you plan on avoiding debt?
Don't spend money that I don't have.
If you could feasibly avoid getting a credit card, would you?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. But you gotta have good credit scores to get good shit, so. Oh, good stuff.
Okay, Will, you wanna...
Well, what's your take on all this?
I think credit's a bad idea.
Credit's a bad idea. If you didn't have to get a credit card, would you?
I think it's good to have in case of emergency.
But it's a bad idea.
I think overall it's a bad idea. I think in order to have credit, you should be a mature adult. Like, I don't think you should get it when you're young. Because if you make a bad decision when you're young, then it could haunt you for the rest of your life.
What kind of emergencies would you consider worth using credit for?
Like if you ran out of gas in a bad neighborhood, like Compton, and you had to get gas, you had no money, and there are black people everywhere. You could use your credit card to get gas and get yourself out of that sticky situation.
How do you plan on avoiding debt?
Next question.
Alright. What is one piece of advice you'd give to someone getting a credit card?
Wait till you are ready. It's like having a baby or getting married. If you do it wrong, then it messes you up for the rest of your life, you know? You have a bad kid or something, you marry someone ugly.
While interviewing various people, we gathered that most people had similar things to say.
Mainly that the least amount of credit cards you own, the better off you'll be, because that's simply one less credit card you'll have to worry about paying off.
Also, we learned that you should always pay your bills on time so that you do not go into debt.
And it's always important to look for the lowest interest rate, because that means less money you'll have to pay off to the credit card companies.
You should never spend money that you don't have.
And most importantly, use your cards responsibly.
Goodbye.